And I'm back with more Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Last time we had ourselves one hell of a first trial. Angel's Star took 50 minutes on stand. But we've taken a recess, and now we're going to figure out what's going after this. We are trying to disprove her theory that Lana stabbed Bruce Goodman. Sure doesn't look like Emma is buying it too much. Mr. Wright? Are trials always like this? You're swimming up from the bottom of a lake about to reach a surface. But no matter how hard you paddle, you never seem to get there. Pretty much. Except today we're swimming in quicksand. So what happened to your sister anyway? Apparently she got called off to the judge's chambers. Probably something to do with that piece of cloth. So this is where we turn the trial around, right? Our only weapon, a tiny, insignificant piece of cloth. I'm the one who's starting to feel tiny and insignificant, to tell the truth. Hola, partner. Hey, you done shaving your face yet? They may show you a red cloth to a bull. It'll fire up its temper. That is false, by the way. They proved it's the movement, not the color. That's what they told me when I was a youngin', at least. Officer Marshall. Thought I'd come and have a look-see how the trial was going. Looks like it was a little late. They got the home ranch locked down tighter than a fort in enemy territory. Hard to slip out, huh? Well, what's going on over there anyway? All the police I've seen these last 2 days have been on edge. Don't you got enough on your plate worried about other people? Could be worrying about that chief prosecutor's tapes and mufflers, for example. Officer Marshall, that whole muffler thing didn't have anything to do with scarves. She wasn't even wearing one. You don't say. Now don't that just beat all? I've seen the red breeze blow around her slender neck many a time. And I saw it that day, too. She was wearing a red muffler. The award ceremony that afternoon, Edgewood's seen it too, I reckon. That photograph taken at the... Wait, she wasn't wearing it. So Miss Star wasn't mistaken. Well, it's about time. Remember, sometimes you gotta grab the bull by the horns. And sometimes you just gotta let it go where it will. I got a bad feeling about this. What are we swimming in now? Bullshit. If it's steak sauce, I can hook you up with some fine ribs. Ooh-wee! I guess that would go well with the fish guts. Mmm, fish guts and steak sauce. Duh. Duh! Something wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. Your face is blue, your lips are purple, you're sweating bullets. That furrowed brow, grinding teeth, those watery eyes. What's more, your eyes are unfocused. You're doubling over. Your back is... That can't be! I wonder what happened. Well then, I believe it's time we continued. During our recess, I had a request that the prosecution conduct an investigation. This is unacceptable. It seems our prosecutor is quite beside himself. Excuse me. Knock, knock. Who's there? Oh! What's with this guy? Strange stuffy aura seems to be filling the courtroom. Hey, the temperature rose 5.7 degrees! Who on earth is he? Oh, it's you! Oh! Sorry I'm late, Udgy. The roads are backed. It's just me. Long time no see. How you been? Swim much these days? Oh, hello. No, I've been so busy. Busy snizzy, my boy. You've You have to make time to relax. Yes, indeed. It seems to be his nickname. I'm afraid you're right. Sorry, but who are you? Aha! So you're Righto. I've heard about you, son. Thank you? So sorry about our little worthy giving you all that trouble, huh? You know, we really should go swimming together sometime. It'd be jolly. Little worthy? Mr. Wright! You don't know the district chief of... Oh, shit. Chief of police? He's the top-ranking police officer in the entire district. Name's Gant. Damon Gant. Pleased to meet you, everyone. So, what do we owe this honor for today? It's been 2 years since you last came to the courtroom, hasn't it? Well, it's worthy. Look at the poor fella. I just thought I'd help out by bringing this. Hey, that's my sister's muffler. So she wasn't seeing things. When the crime occurred, she was really wearing it. But to think that it was stuffed in an exhaust pipe. It's really quite embarrassing, even for us. What's this? It's what you'd call a switchblade knife. It's quite perplexing. Chief! What kind of outfit are you running? Mr. Edgeworth, how could they miss such a vital piece of evidence? If your investigators are this lax, how do you expect us to do our job? Now, wait a minute. I've no desire to hear your excuses. I'm telling you to wait. Or didn't you hear me? Ugh. Have a look at this document, where it says person in charge of investigation. There's no mistaking its signature here. Miles Edgeworth. It's not fair! On the day of the crime, I had your head in the clouds because you got that award. I know how you feel, but you're the person in charge. I'll expect a written apology. What? Are you serious? Don't be too upset. We'll find a way to clean up this mess that you made. This is the first time I've seen Mr. Edgeworth at a loss. This kind of major blunder is unlike you. Duh. The court accepts this new evidence, but I'd like to ask the defense a favor first. Just to be sure, I'd like to take the look at the blade of this knife. Well, I don't see why not. Could you open it up for me? I've no clue how to open it. If I cut my finger, I would not be able to pound my gavel. But if I cut my finger, I'd be able to point it at people. Just hurry up and open it. Alright, so they want me to look for something in this. Personally, I want to keep talking like Damon Gant, but whatever. Okay. Alright. Examine it to flip it open. Okay. Switchblade knife. Okay. Chink. Well, it looks very broken. Don't scare me like that! No, I'm the one who's scared. Look at the knife blade, the tip's broken off. This dark red stain, it's blood? Small tag. This does not excuse the actions of the police department. I would like to hear an explanation from the chief himself. I'm terribly sorry, but could I ask you to testify about the split between the prosecutors and the police and this knife? Ha ha ha! Sure thing. It's not a problem. It's not even a little problem. This knife is special, but I can't say how right now. Unless there's evidence to prove a connection between this knife and Goodman. That was a bad day for the department. We weren't in any shape to do an investigation. A detective was killed at the police department. It was a mess. The time of the crime, it was 5:15. It was a scary coincidence, don't you think? It's not officially linked to this here case, so I can't talk much about it. There's a murder at the police department? That's hush-hush information. We haven't exactly announced it. Wait a second. You said 5:15. That's the exact time that Detective Goodman was killed. Anyway, we at the department were all flustered, as you might well assume. We're in the middle of a top-secret investigation. Don't tell anyone, okay? I think we understand the police department situation. 2 detectives killed at the same time? The chances are really slim, scientifically speaking. I'd like to exercise my right to cross-examine the witness. Very well. However, keep your questions focused on the case at hand. This knife is special. This knife was found at the scene of the crime. You see, there are lots of things going on in the department I can't explain. It's delicate, okay? Sorry. Maybe there's something about the knife that'll give us a clue. Let's examine it. I should try presenting this piece of evidence. Whoops. Not this knife. There's a small tag on the knife. It says SL92? What's that supposed to mean? It reminds me of something else. That's weird. I don't remember where, but I think I've seen somewhere like this before. It wasn't that long ago either. Wait a minute. Oh, at last! An honest-to-goodness objection! This knife. This has to have something to do with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? An honest-to-goodness, what do you mean? This is great. Look at the tag on the knife. It says SL92. And this is important. Why? Over here we also have a memo that was on the body of the victim. What's this? 6 minus T 7S. No. Your Honor, it's upside down. The printed name on the memo makes it look like it's right side up, but turn it around and what do you get? Ah! Whoever wrote this note was holding the paper upside down. That's the same thing written on the knife tag. Order! Well? Ah, well. I guess the cat's out of the bag. You win, righto. I win? What is this guy playing at? This knife was evidence for a case. It was stolen from the department evidence room. This knife was stolen? Yes, but on the day of the murder. It was evidence, you could say. Was it in fact a murder weapon? Nice, nice, good show. It was a murder weapon, it seems. It was evidence from a case long since solved. This knife was stolen on the day of the murder? It was found in the exhaust pipe? Hard to think there isn't a connection there. Something happened to the police department too. You've got a good look in your eyes there. Sharp, hungry. So something did happen. Why wasn't I informed? Why weren't you informed? Well, why didn't you ask? No matter, I understand. You were busy, what with Lana's case after all. Well, what happened? On the same day that a detective was killed? Another detective was killed at the police department? That's a fact! It's surprising it, isn't it? I'm at a loss for words. And the perpetrator, do you have a suspect? Well, there was a suspect. Just arrested them, in fact. That was quick. But there's still a lot of unanswered questions. Maybe you can help. I suppose I can, if you help by giving me data. Oh, good one! This kid is sharp. Okay, here's the deal. I'll tell you one thing, and one thing only. Ask him where the victim was found, okay. So where was the victim found? Well, I can't speak on where the corpse was found, but I can say the crime took place in the evidence room in the police department. The evidence room? Wait a minute. I've heard of that. The evidence room? Didn't he mention that in the testimony just now? This knife was evidence for a case. It was stolen from the evidence room. There's the connection. You seem happy. We just got handed our ticket to go to town on this case. With the link between these two cases established, we finally have some leverage. Now we can get Gant to testify about the details. Chief, the defense's position is simply this. The connections between these two cases has already been proven. Huh, you don't say. Well, out with it. What's your connection? Yes. The connection is a place mentioned in the testimony. The knife was found in a lot, stolen, from the police department's evidence room. Not to mention the victim had on him the case number of the evidence tag. We also know that a detective was murdered at the police department and was killed in the very same room. Indeed. There do seem to be too many connections. Oh. You two make a good pair. It took me 2 days to deduce what you've done right now. Chief, I request that you release your information on the victim to the police department. See, that's the tricky part. It hasn't been announced yet. Can we get the information unofficially? Sure, why not? It's unofficial. Who would have guessed? I'll cooperate, but I can't reveal the name of the victim to the department, okay? If you're going to tell us a little, why not tell us everything? Well, case information is sticky stuff. You have to have everything properly. Guess we can try to get this out of him. Okay, how about you tell us the victim's ID number? Sure, why not? It's not like you'll be able to tell who it is from that. If you won't tell me their name. We keep a tight lid on ID numbers, so don't go getting your hopes up. The number is 5842189. Well, that's quite long. And we have to remember these, it drives me nuts. Well, Mr. Wright, does that tell you something? Actually, it does. It does, I think. Meaning... Oh, they took the backdrop away. You know, it's serious. But what does this mean? Well, let's hear what the defense has to say. You say the ID number of the detective who was murdered at the police department tells you something? What does it tell you? Witness! What is it? What is this news? Just come out with both guns blazing like you always do. They did it again! The police department, prosecutor's office, 2 places, 2 detectives murdered at the same time? Actually, I happen to have a police ID number here. Is it yours? No! I'm a defense attorney, remember? This is the ID number of our victim, Detective Goodman. Shame on you! Personal IDs are top secret. And this means what? Well, wait. That's the ID number The number the chief gave us was... Wait a second. What does... mean? That's what I want to know. The 2 ID numbers are identical. So the detective killed in the evidence room was Bruce Goodman. What does our witness think of that? Oh, you're sharp as a tack. But he was our victim. He was killed at 5:15 in the underground parking lot. Yet a detective Bruce Goodman was also killed at the police department, in the evidence room at the exact same time. That's impossible. So what we're saying is the same person was killed at the same time? In a completely different location? This is madness. What does this mean? What I want to know is why didn't I hear of any of this? Yes, it's top secret, but I'm the prosecutor in charge of this case. Now, just a second. No need to get all flustered. Your Honor, the police department has made a grave error in this case. Wait. I said wait. Or didn't you hear me? The oversight. Grave error. Mr. Edgeworth. They're yours. What? How dare you? We informed you yesterday. I believe it was our Officer Meekins who brought you news. Is it him? Have we heard that name before? Wait a minute. Ah, that was me, sir. Ah. You mean him? According to Meekins, you didn't accept the report. Hard to believe. But your officer, he said that the report had nothing to do with the Lana Sky. Detective Bruce Goodman was murdered in the police department evidence room. Mr. Edgeworth, the victim's name's written right at the top of the report. Oh, why didn't your officer tell me? Honestly, I'm not sure that he was capable of making that connection. He did seem challenged. In any case, this is a serious error. A gross negligence of duty on your part. But sir, you could have submitted that report this morning to the court as evidence. No such luck this time. Worthy. Or should I say, unworthy. What? Now, what was the second rule of evidence law? Well, rule number 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And how is this rule relevant? Normally, you submit a list of evidence to be used in a court before a trial. This report wasn't on that list. So what does that mean? I couldn't submit this evidence until the connection was proven in court. Ugh. The connection was just proven by Wright over here. Good job, my boy. No! No! Seems we've come to the end of this trial. I know you're going through a tough time, Worthy, with all these rumors. You were even in the defendant's chair past December. I apologize for this terrible lack of due diligence. Mr. Edgeworth, just give me one day. I'll get to the bottom of what happened, if it's the last thing I do. You'd better get results this time. Really? You have my profound apologies, sir. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth. I don't think there's ever been an error this serious in the history of court. I will grant one further day as the prosecution has requested. Will that be sufficient? Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Whatever your punishment is for this, I hope for your sake it's not decisive. Very well, court is adjourned. Oh boy. All right. Man, that was an hour and a half of trial. Oh, damn. They aren't kidding around with this. But this will be our break. And I will see you guys next episode. Yeah!